Once again, Saturday Night Raps and Vibes.
Catch the
You know what?
vibe.
I did this for fun. I didn't do all 200. Here's Trav's top 20, you know. Now, let me give these parameters, unlike Rolling Stone. I didn't include any mixtapes on here. These are actually my personal favorites. So, I'm not going with what the crowd thinks. It's more of what I think. So this is my top 20. This is the Saturday Night Raps and Vibes. Trav's top 20 hip-hop albums of all time. I didn't do 200, but I did 20. Well, actually, I did 21. So here we go. Tied at 20, I got Victory Lap from Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle's probably most phenomenal project, man. It's a motivational album. I could listen to that every day. Tied at 20, though, because it was so hard to decide between this, is The Fix from Scarface. I heard Rob Markham said he found God through that album. So any album that makes somebody find God, man, it's gotta make the list. But Scarface, probably one of the best MCs ever, man. Dropped a phenomenal project with that. So tied for 20, Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle and Scarface, The Fix at 20. At number 19, DMX, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Man, if you don't know what DMX was doing at that time, when that came out, he took over the world. So shouts to him at number 19. At number 18, shouts to Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. One of the best collab projects ever, man. Had so many dope features on there, and they all fit perfectly. It wasn't overdone. He had incredible verses classic verses from Nicki Minaj and Rick Ross and Pusha T and Sci-Hi and Jay-Z and Raekwon. It was just a fire album, man. One of the most beautifully done albums, beautifully produced. Sonically, it's one of the greatest albums ever. So at 18, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. At number 17, I got T.I., Trap Music. We wouldn't have trap music now if it wasn't for this project, but that album got played back to back when it came out. So trust me, that album actually changed the game for Southern hip hop and gave us what we now know as trap music. At number 16, the Carter 3. I told my Carter 3 story earlier, man. That's one of the best, most anticipated projects. It started one of the greatest runs by Weezy. He was featured everywhere with dope verses. You were holding your breath to hear what Weezy was going to say next on every album. The Carter 3, number 16 for me. Number 15, Get Rich or Die Trying, 50 Cent. Phenomenal project, man. Phenomenal. This album was playing everywhere. I went to a high school with probably like 70-30 white to black, I say. And all the white kids were bumping this as well, too. So that lets you know that this thing took over the world. 50 Cent became a mega star from this. At number 14, I got The Blueprint by Jay-Z. Some people say it's his best project. I'm big on it as well, man. I think he's got one of the best catalogs ever in hip-hop or any genre, and often he's competing against himself. So The Blueprint was phenomenal production by Kanye and Just Blaze. One of my favorite Kanye albums. I come back and forth on a couple, but you'll see that later. But number 13, I got Graduation. Thought sonically Graduation was a phenomenal project. There were no misses on that. Gave us those big anthem records. So number 13, Graduation by Kanye West. Number 12, 2014, Forest Hill Drive by J. Cole. Can argue that's J. Cole's finest project. J. Cole definitely should have had some more albums on Rolling Stone's list. K.O.D., Born Center, Friday Night Lights, all should have made the list. Forest Hill Drive at number 12 on my list, as opposed to an appalling 132 on Rolling Stone's list. At number 11, I got that Dr. Dre's The Chronic. One of the best produced and sounding projects ever. We got some dope stuff from Snoop. Dre was killing it on this. This album changed the game, man. It took over the world. So shouts out to him, man. Dr. Dre, The Chronic at 11. At number 10, I got Aquemini by Outkast. It's my favorite Outkast album. You know, they just had the joints on here, man. I love what they did. Spodiodiopalicious. I just love saying that. Yeah, Rosa Parks was on this album, The Art of Storytelling Part 2. Aquemini by Outkast. I had that up there at number 10. At number 9, best female rap album ever. It's Hardcore by Lil Kim. Lil Kim changed the game on this. We spoke on the last episode that she was like the first LGBTQ ally, and she's also, you know, was one of those people who was able to promote women being empowered by their own sexuality, and a lot of that was done through this album. A lot of joints on that, man. So I love it. The album cover and the poses are iconic. Lil Kim Hardcore at 9. That's in our top 10. At number 8, I got Good Kid, Mad City. Like I told you, they just had the order wrong on their list. But Good Kid, Mad City is definitely Kendrick Kendrick's best album, man. It's like literally listening to a movie playing this album. It's Kendrick's best project, man. And number 7, I got Illmatic by Nas. Fire album, man. Nas' Illmatic is one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever, and there's no argument about that. Whatever they had it at on Rolling Stone, I think it was like in the 20s or 40s or something. Whatever that number was, it was appalling. What is that number they had? They had it at 24. Appalling. Should be a little bit higher, man. I got it at number 7 on my list. And number 6, I got Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, man. Spoke about that earlier. Wu-Tang, man. They did their thing, man, on this. And RZA was changing the game with his production. And he had the best collection of MCs ever put together. They were changing the game. I mean, they were the first people putting like 7, 8 people on the track. Like, just fire, no hook, just rapping, and people knew every word. So shouts to Wu-Tang for that. And number 5, I have the most disrespected album, of course. Little Brother, The Minstrel Show, one of the greatest hip-hop projects ever. It's definitely aged well, man. Pooh and Fonte with production by Ninth Wonder. This album is phenomenal, man. You can listen to this album every day, man. Ninth Wonder samples, they had the telling skits, they had the rapping, the lyricism, the songwriting, the topics, everything about this signifies that it's a phenomenal project. So shout out to Lil Brother, The Minstrel Show, cracking the top 5 on my list of my top 20. At number 4, we got The College Dropout. Told you I go back and forth for my Kanye albums. Before I say Graduation's my favorite, it still might be my favorite, but some days College Dropout is my favorite. It's something about the nostalgic feel that College Dropout gives and the sound that it ushered in. For them to have it ranked at number 52 on Rolling Stone's list is a bit appalling as well. But, that's their list. This is mine. So shouts out to College Dropout at number 4, classic Kanye West album. At number 3, my favorite Jay-Z album, the Black Album. It's something about it, man. I just love the tracks on that. I love the 99 Problems. It's probably one of the best written songs ever to me. Something about it, man. It's just amazing. We got to see Fade to Black, where we got to actually see the documentary associated with it, to see inside look, to really see how Jay-Z creates, which is dope. Like, man, that's how Hov really writes. But the Black Album, man, the best Jay-Z project. And number 2, I got Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory. My favorite Tribe album, man. This was like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like this, like the first just 2 tracks on this, Excursions and Bugging Out, like the way those bass runs came in was just changed the entire game, man. But I love this. This is my favorite Tribe Called Quest album. Check the Rhyme was on there. Scenario was up there. Butter, man, just a fire album, man. I love that. Low End Theory, number 2. And number 1, something we can agree on, Rolling Stone, is Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die. If you know, you know. I know a lot of the new generations don't understand the impact of this album, but you should really tap in and see why people love, like me and other artists, love this album so much, and why 20 plus years later, maybe 30 years now, close to 30 years now, we're still talking about this as the best hip hop album of all time. I think you should probably tap in if you're not familiar and see why people rock with this so much. This album, man, has everything that you're looking for. It's got the storytelling. Big has the greatest flow of all time. Like the pockets that he's able to find on any kind of track, the storytelling, the voices, the different vibes that he gave us, from Juicy to Warning to Gimme the Loot to Big Papa. Like, it's just nuts, man, that he's able to float the way he does on all these tracks. And the overall guidance and production that Puff gave him as well on this, man, just gave us the perfect blend. So Ready to Die, I agree with you, Rolling Stone, the number 1 album. So what do you think of my list? I gave you my 20, Trav's top 20 here for the Teen Music Network. Let me know what you think of my list. If you think it's trash, that's cool. Just tell me why. Tell me what I missed. Tell me what should be up there.
It's a vibe.